Hello, everybody. So glad you're here watching. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the nutrition, and it's really weird because the camera on my computer is like down here. So if I look like I'm looking over you half the time, that's why. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm so glad we get to do this together. And even though I'm so excited, I don't always put makeup on for you. So it's like 6:30 in the morning when I'm doing this. So just know I love you, even though my face may not look lovely. Um, so here's the thing with the nutrition, guys. It's simple, and that's why I love it, and that's why it's worked for me. And I just kind of want to talk you through the nutrition plan. So if you watched my video yesterday about how to access the workouts and then the program materials, that's where I'm getting all this information from. So it's nothing you can't go look and find yourself. And if you've ever done 21-day fixed nutrition before, it is pretty much the exact same thing as that. So I am just going to share my screen real quick and show you guys. There we go. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Oh my goodness. Technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, so this is on the program materials right here, and this is where you need to start to see what plan you fall under. And it's just based strictly on your weight. Now, if that like freaks you out, I want you just to pick the plan you fall under, and we're going to try it for like the first week next week and then check back in. Are you feeling hungry? Are you having trouble eating all the containers? How's that make you feeling? And then we'll go from there. But this is going to be our starting point. So let's just talk for right now. Let's say you were in plan B, okay? Now, here's what all this means. These are your different food groups, and that's how we're going to think about our food. We're not counting calories, we're thinking about food groups. This is how many servings of each food group I get. So if I'm in plan B, I'm trying throughout my day to have 4 servings of veggies, 3 of fruits, 4 of proteins, so on and so forth. If you have any of the performance lines, so the pre-workout energize or the recovery shake, that's down here. But most of you have your Shakeology. So when you have your Shakeology in a day, that counts as a protein. So that's one of these servings. Then if you have a protein serving at every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're covered. So it's really just about figuring out how can I space these out throughout my day so that I get them all covered. Because if you eat 2 servings of fruit and some carbs for breakfast, well, when are you getting in all these veggies? You better be snacking. You better make sure you're getting multiple veggies in. And a lot of what I do is not necessarily meal planning out every single thing I'm going to eat, but it is saying, okay, for breakfast every day, I want to make sure I have a protein, a veggie, and fruit or something. And for lunch, I want to make sure I have this, this, and this. And I'm going to be posting simple meal plans for that as well. Now, if I scroll a little bit, I'm going to get to the food list. So for the most part, we know what a fruit is, we know what a veggie is, but these are really just some of your best options. And they talk about the size of a serving, which is super important with this. So there's a list of veggies you want to stick to, fruits, proteins. Carbs may be new. Well, there may be some things on carbs that you didn't really think about, because some things that we consider vegetables are actually carbohydrates because of how they're made up. So like a sweet potato, that's going to count as a carb. Your corn, your peas, those kind of things are going to count as carbohydrates. And it's not that we're not having them, it's just if you're like me, you're having fewer than you would in a normal day. Healthy fats, and then you've got seeds and dressings and kind of oils, nut butters. Those are your teaspoons. So that's your food list. That's really important to look at so you know what you're filling those containers with. And then if you need to kind of see how that goes into play, there's a sample meal day where they show you how it's all spaced out with breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack to get in all your containers. And I'll definitely be sharing more of those as well. So let me switch back to my face. Okay. Here's the thing. If you are a really visual person, because they gave you serving sizes, I'm gonna scoot this down. They give you serving sizes on that list. So the size of a serving size for a veggie is different than the size of a serving size for a protein and a carb. So for fruits and veggies, and this may be worth writing down, a serving size is a cup. Now, these are containers that came with like an older nutrition system. If you want these to physically put your stuff in and measure it out, you can go on Beachbody and just search Portion Fix. I think they have just these for like less than $10. Or talk to me if you have trouble finding those. Otherwise, you can just get out physical measuring cups you have in your house. But sometimes I love these because they come with lids also, and I can like, take some carrots in this one, or I can take some grapes in this one, and I know I'm getting my serving size and it's able to travel with me. So if you like these, totally use them. Get yourself some. But basically, your fruits and veggies, which on that plan B we were looking at, you're supposed to have 4 servings of veggies and 3 of fruit. Those serving sizes are basically a cup. When it comes to protein, though, this is about 3/4 of a cup. Now, if you're eating a chicken breast, you're not gonna, shred it to death and put it in there. But if you were doing yogurt, or if you did have like a shredded meat or something like that, you could totally measure. But on that food list, it may tell you, a 4-ounce chicken breast is your 3/4 a cup, or your portion size. For carbs, it's a 1/2 cup. And again, there are some things that maybe you wouldn't measure out that way, so it tells you on the food list what the serving is. And then you have your healthy fat. I like to put hummus in this one. And then if you're doing like seeds, dressing, you got this little guy. So if the containers would help your life, definitely get them. But otherwise, just know a cup, 3/4, 1/2 a cup. This one ends up being 1/4 a cup, and this one ends up being like a couple tablespoons worth. So it's really important that you measure, because what we're used to having on our plate is most likely not these. So I would even encourage you, if you're just making dinner tonight and you're having like a protein, a veggie, and a carb, get out your measuring cups and see what a cup of veggies looks like. See what 3/4 a cup of your protein looks like. See what 1/2 a cup of your carb looks like, and see if that's kind of what you're really doing. Let's see. So that. But these are great. Ask me questions if you're not sure how to take that list and all those colors and match it up. And they color code things. So veggie, fruit, protein, carb, healthy fat, and seed dressing that you can totally use. The other big thing you need to know about this nutrition plan is that you do get a cheat day, because the creator wanted this to be something you work in your life. It doesn't need to be 8 weeks of deprivation, because you will not keep that up. I mean, most likely you will not keep that up. It's great to be like super focused, but it needs to be something sustainable. And I know for me, I like to have those treats, but if I know that my cheat day is going to be Saturday, then I can look forward to it. I can save up and not do all these cheats all the time. I can be like, okay, on Saturday, I have a birthday party, I'm going to have some cake. Or on Saturday, I really want to have a donut. We'll talk more about that cheat day, but if you read through the program materials, Joel, the trainer, says, don't overdo it. Do it till you're satisfied. If you eat half a piece of cake and you're satisfied with it, okay, great, stop. Don't get stuck in this like clean your plate mentality. So there's not a lot of guidelines around that as far as what we're eating on cheat day. It's just more so of giving in to maybe a craving you've had, but really listening to your body and knowing when you're satisfied with it, and not going overboard just because it's cheat day. And I think the more you clean up your diet with this, the less you're going to want those cheats, because what I've really found is when I go back to eating stuff that's not good for me, I start feeling crappy, and nobody wants to feel crappy. Okay, so that was the basics of your nutrition plan. I hope that kind of outlined it for you. Please use today to like look over it. Ask me any questions. I'd love it if you ask them in here because somebody else may have them also, but you can totally message me. And then hopefully later tonight I'll be back on to talk a little bit more about your shake because I know some of you will be getting that in this week and how you can incorporate that in some great recipes. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.